Gentlemen, welcome to the Starting a Business Building a Brand vlog. This is big number 124. Today we're going to dive deep into some of the backstories of our Tiege Hanley team members. So let's get going.
Hi guys, my name is Aken. I am the Director of Marketing here at Tiege. It's my 8th day at Tiege, so I'm very new. I got hired here through a common connection I had with Kelly. There was a gentleman that had hired me to a company called Shop Local. That was about 10 years ago. This gentleman and I, over time, we kept in touch, and he has definitely been one of my mentors. And he was talking to me about this really exciting startup in Chicago area that's really redefining skincare for men. So, long story short, I'm here. I was born and raised in Turkey, came here for school back in '92, studied computer science, went to University of Nebraska, go Huskers. Love to grill. I have 2 gas grills, a charcoal grill, a smoker, and I have a full spit, and I actually grill a whole lamb once a year. So if you're into grilling, if you're a foodie, I'd love to hear your comments and ideas on what I can grill this summer. So right out of college, with a computer science degree, I was a developer. What you have in college versus real life is a little bit different. And I realized that programming is something I can do, but I'm not really too crazy about it. So I started looking around and I realized that there was this new thing called websites. Again, this is back in 1995. This is a long time ago. So I became a project manager for developing the first website of the company I was working at. I was there for about 7 years. Then I went into digital product development, where I was at Experian, and I built a really cool product where, when you're typing your name to a form, and when you're typing your address, sometimes it auto-populates it. Well, the first product that did that was an Experian product, and I developed it there. So that was a lot of fun. After Experian, I went to Shop Local. I was hired to run their SEO and paid search campaigns. It was a phenomenal experience. We built automated systems both for SEO and paid search. And that's where I really learned the value of digital analytics. After that, I went to an agency called Merkle. At Merkle, I ran digital marketing for Office Depot, DSW, USAA, Tiffany, some fantastic brands. And after that, I went to Grainger, a small tiny company, about, last count, 25,000 employees. I was director of digital marketing there. I was in charge of about $4 billion with a B in revenue. Huge team, 26 very talented people. At each job, I really, try to find someone that I can really look up to, that I can, talk to honestly about my career, where they think my strengths are, what kind of roles they think that I would be really good at. And I always thought about, what do I want to do? What do they think that I can do or I should do? And I always took a career path by listening to people that I really trust. But I have been, a professional for now 20 years, and definitely some of the best advice I got was from those people in my career board of advisors.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I've been here since the beginning of March, almost a month now. I came through a friendship with Kelly. Kelly and I have known each other for 15 years, and we met through our church, school, and our children. Over time, we realized that we had careers that aligned. We knew some of the same companies, some of the same people. I had the good fortune through being a mom, as well as a professional worker, to take some time off. So I took some time off. I worked in the school, and Kelly always asked me, what are you doing? What are you doing for the school? What are you doing for the community? And he would kind of always circle back, when you want to come back to work, I want you to work for me. When he introduced the men's care line and he started explaining to me what this was from the inception, then I knew exactly that would be my next. He said, I'm hiring people, I need people, will you come talk to me about this job? And I said, sure. And then he said, can you come Friday? Can you start Monday? So that's how I got started. Starting with my career, I always like telling people that I'm one of those that went to college and actually uses their degree to this day. You hear so many people say that it's okay to go into school and go liberal arts. I knew from the very beginning I was going to go into advertising. I went to Michigan State University, had an amazing 4 years, but was really focused on advertising. While I was there at school, I did a promotion through the Retail Association there in East Lansing, and I got a feel for that component of marketing. Right out of school, moved to Chicago and started working with a celebrity, Stedman Graham, Oprah Winfrey. And I got that position through a girlfriend. They were working on The Office, believe it or not, interior decorating, and he needed to hire somebody. So I started my first 2 years in sports marketing with charities and outreach through huge national events with Michael Jordan and Walter Peyton. A phenomenally fun job, and getting to know Oprah was outstanding at such a young age. I was able to go from there to the World Cup. So the World Cup came to the United States in '94. They had a Chicago office, and I worked for the World Cup organizing committee in the United States for 2 years, ramping up for the opening ceremonies and the first 7-8 games. The most fun thing about that job is I had absolutely nothing to do with the soccer players or the field or the games. I was the external affairs director, and I was responsible for everything that had nothing to do with the games and for Chicago. So it was all of the branding, the logo for the World Cup in conjunction with the city of Chicago, the mayor's office, and their logo, and how the restaurants would use it, how the Michigan Avenue would be decorated, and how all of the visitors, all the volunteers, all the PR, all the communication, all of the marketing, because it was worth millions and millions of dollars to Chicago if they did it right from international guests and visitors. When the games actually came to the United States, my job was working with the Secret Service, and that was memorable and beyond fun, because we had the President of the United States, Bill Clinton at the time, the governor, the mayor, the Chancellor of Germany, and the world visitors. Pele was there. It was so much fun, and my job was with the motorcade, making sure they all got in and they all knew where to sit, and it was a phenomenally amazing event. From there, I went into a sports marketing firm. It was really important for me personally to get away from just organizing events. A lot of people went to the Olympics. I wanted to go back to advertising, a true marketing agency. So I went to Frankel. Frankel does not exist anymore. They were sold to Publicis, and they've been folded into a company called ARC with Leo Burnett. At the time I started, there was about 200 people, and then it became 1,000 people. And this is a company that Kelly really knew about. So with his experience, his life, he really understood my experience at Frankel. We were the packaging agency for branding and logos and marks for McDonald's in particular. And I was responsible for the partnership with Disney, having, again, major global brand experience now from the World Cup. I had to manage the McDonald's brand in conjunction with all the Disney brands. In terms of being the brand manager now for Tiege, I just learned so much about brand equity, brand control, be really careful how you use your own logo and what your logo or your marks can and can't do with other big brands. So I was able to work with TruValue and the NFL quarterbacks, and then Disney and McDonald's, which was, again, a wonderful opportunity. That's when I decided to take some time off, believe it or not. Had a few kids. My husband was traveling, so I had the luxury of taking time off. I was working with a youth baseball organization. It's been around for 50 years. It's the largest one in the city. Kerry Woods would have his kids in there. We were able to start moving our kids down to the University of Illinois, Chicago. I was working with these children, and simultaneously Curtis Granderson, a Major League Baseball player, was with the Tigers, then the Yankees, the Mets. He gave $5 million to the baseball program to the university. They created a new stadium, and the caveat was, you have to have kids come use my field. Well, here I was, the only mom, moving kids down there who had to have a degree in sports marketing and events and branding and working with major institutions. So the athletic department and the baseball coach hired me, and it was a great segue to go back into work with something that I knew and I felt really comfortable with. I circled back again with Kelly. It's when he was talking to me about the development of the Tiege brand, and I said, I would love to work for you, Kelly. whenever you're ready to hire, which was last month.
Hey, I'm Josh. I do marketing here at Tiege Hanley. You may have seen me in a few other vlogs before, or Aaron mentioned me in a few vlogs. And so I just wanted to give you a little background on, how I got here and where I came from. And so the short and sweet of me being hired at Tiege Hanley it's nothing fantastic. I was applying for jobs. I saw a listing on ZipRecruiter, and it didn't even have the company's name in it. And I applied, and I talked with Kelly and Rob and a few times, and they decided to bring me on pretty early on, about a year ago now. I think my year anniversary is next week, actually. And so that's how I got hired here. Before I was with Tiege Hanley, and still I still do this on the side. I do a thing called Digital Tour Bus. It's a relatively large channel on YouTube, 108,000 subscribers. Before I was on YouTube, it was just a website, digitaltourbus.com, and basically I just interview bands and artists on their tour bus. That was kind of the shtick and why it was a bit different. And I've done a ton, probably 15 to 1,700 interviews, somewhere around there. I've lost count at this point, but anyone from mainstream acts like hip hop artist Machine Gun Kelly, or 90s rock band Matchbox 20, or thrash metal legends Megadeth, and just everything in between and all over the place. And so I started that when I was in college, while going to school, maintaining good grades. I started digital tour bus, and it's been a cool experience, and it's led me to here.
Hi, I'm Tom, and I handle all the customer interactions here at Tiege Hanley. I recently moved back to Chicago this past fall. After interviewing and securing this job with Tiege Hanley, I came back to Chicago. So I was here after I graduated from college in 2007. I moved to Chicago to pursue the storefront theater scene, and I needed to support myself as well. So I got a day job at a small company down in the Loop, and I was a customer service rep with them for about 5-6 years. And I heard certain dreams calling me out west. The whole time I was in Chicago, I did stand-up and I did comedy. I had a late-night talk show that I did independently, which was a lot of fun. But something was telling me that I needed to go try my hand in the big game, the big time out in LA. So I moved to Los Angeles in 2014 and had a pretty interesting time out there. But I never really felt like it was home, or if it was anything that I was going to do long-term. And after about 3 years, I kind of realized it wasn't for me, and I wanted to get back to living a life that was a little bit more even keel and a little less tumultuous. So I came back to Chicago after I found myself a job. Guys, word to the wise, if you ever move to any big location, make sure that you line up employment first. Very important to be able to pay your bills once you get there. So I've been back in Chicago since October. My favorite thing that I did out in LA, though, was I worked on a project for low-carb comedy called Big Head Parodies. So you can just throw a YouTube search in for low-carb comedy. And so I got to live some really interesting movie dreams of mine. I'm in the Big Head parody of Jurassic Park, the Big Head parody of Star Wars The Force Awakens. I play Luke Skywalker. I play John Hammond, who owns Jurassic Park. It was just a lot of fun. If you have any time, if you want to check that out, feel free. Still doing stand-up around Chicago, which is great. I've just kind of gotten back into it. Tiege has really taken up a lot of my time. Being a new employee, I think it's important to dedicate a lot of yourself to understanding what your job is. And once you have a firmer handle on your job, you can kind of start peppering in other things that you do outside of work. Yeah, excited to continue to work and grow with this company and see where the future takes us.
Hey guys, I'm Tommy. I'm the operations manager here at Tiege Hanley, and I'm actually Tiege Hanley, a full-time employee number 1. I've been with Tiege for about 1 year, and the story of my hiring was pretty lucky, actually. Back in 2017, The company that I had worked for 12 years and kind of cut my teeth on, they decided to pull up stakes and move to San Diego. But I was looking for other work, and I talked to the people in this very building, put in my resume for any operations manager jobs that came up. The second job I got a call about and supplied my resume for turned out to be Kelly with Tiege Hanley. So I interviewed, somehow got through the process with the guys, and next thing I know, I was working back in the same building I had just moved out of, just down the hall. Working for Tiege Hanley has been really a blessing. The way I got to Chicago was my friends from high school and we had been in bands together, and we went to college together at West Virginia University, and somehow all of us wanted to move to Chicago. I had studied Chicago at school. I was a urban history major, and so I knew a lot about Chicago on that front, and had come here as a kid to visit and grew up a Cubs fan. The other guys in the band wanted to come to Chicago too, due to previous visits to the city. We wanted to come to a city and try to play music up here. So we all moved up to Chicago years ago and tried to cut our teeth in the music scene here.
Well, guys, we hope that you enjoyed hearing from some of our Tiege Hanley team members. We love you guys more than our double monk strap shoes. Stay tuned next week for your regularly scheduled programming and Aaron Marino when he returns.